Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a simple assembly. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with one of these, but I do want to do this and then show you how to create an animation. And then once we've done that, I will show you how to make a drawing from the animation. I know several of you haven't done that yet. So I'm going to go find a part. I'm going to start with this yellow part here. And I've just got a blank tab over here. There's nothing in it. When I take this guy and drag him in and drop him, it's going to create an assembly by default. You notice that right here, this will be a component, and I've already done the hard work here. So I can go ahead and hit OK. It will sink this guy to the ground and basically make him immobile, which is what I'm going for. Everything is going to reference off of this. So there are a number of different types of parts that I'm going to have to put on here. Let's go ahead and start with this garish fellow here. I'm going to throw a little green 2x2 on here. And you'll see the problem is Fusion by default places him at the origin where he was centered, and it puts him inside of a block. So I need you guys to go ahead and just wrap your head around the fact that you're going to need to pull these guys up as just an initial placement, just to get them out of the way so that you can click all the surfaces. Right? Now, to actually place this block, you're going to use your constraint components. We're not going to try and move them by hand. If you're doing that and you're listening to this, you're flat wrong. You are not going to get credit for that. Okay? You have to use your constraints. You do have to make sure your components stay put. So you're going to use this one right here. So constraint components. What I want you guys to start with is I want you to start with the face that's going to touch. So on the new block. So that's the face that we want to touch, and I want it to touch the face of this one right here. Okay, and you can see that what's happened is it has snapped that block to that face, but it's not aligned in any other way. We're going to add a constraint inside of the one we already have open. Don't close this one and open another one. We're going to use the same one. We're going to click this. There's also another little plus right here. And we're going to do a concentric. Legos are great because you do have studs that should be on top of each other. So we're going to use that to our benefit. By using this curved surface of this cylinder that makes up this stud here, and the curved surface of this one down here, I've aligned this brick so that they're already there. Okay. Now I do need one more because this thing is free to spin. Okay. I need to align it to two flat faces. So I'm going to go ahead and click those real quick. Once that's done, I can hit OK. That block can't move. All right. Let's show you how to mount one of our hinge pieces. So I'm going to do something simple like this guy right here. Let's start with the long claw that we modeled in class, and you'll see that Fusion has, as predicted, placed it right where we don't want it. That's okay. I actually want this one to be a little bit different of a placement. I actually want this one to be flipped 90 degrees around to the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do part of that now. This is just to make my life a little easier later with the constraint components. So I'm going to take and flip this guy 90 degrees. It doesn't have to be 90, but I just don't want to have to click several times when I can click once. Alright, so I've got that in sort of the general area I want. Now I'm going to come back here. And what I'm going to do is the same motion. This is the same procedure. I'm going to click Constraint Component. I'm going to find the bottom surface of this guy. See he's highlighting a little gray. And then I'm going to click this surface of this block right here. That is going to help me out a little bit there. Let me move this out of the way. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add a constraint, and I want to use this cylinder face here again, and I'm going to use this cylinder face here, and I'm just getting the flat the curvy bit, not the flat bit on top. Okay. Let me add one more to keep this guy from rotating in place. And I can hit OK. That one's in place. There are times I do want it to rotate, but this is not one of them. Okay. This next one, though, I do want to be able to rotate. I'm going to use this little red hinge piece right here. Let me go ahead and move my screen around a little bit here and turn this up. So I'm going to use this one. Excuse me. And you can see this one's kind of already in the orientation I want, but I'm going to pull him down a little bit just so that I'm not having to zoom in and out with my stuff. Because again, I forgot my mouse at school today, so let's try and make this a little easier. Alright, I can hit OK there. Now I'm going to use my constrained components. I've got to pull this around a little bit, and I'm going to click this curvy face of this cylinder right here, and then I'm going to click this curvy face of this cylinder right here. And you'll notice it's going to be hard for me to do this without a mouse, but these guys are actually bumping into each other, so I need to add another constraint. And the constraint I'm going to add is going to be this face right here and this face right here, and I'm going to give it, I'm sorry, mine's set to inches. I'm going to give it something like 0.05 inches, something like that, just a little tiny bit of a space. Let's see, that's way too much. So let's try 0.1. That's a little closer. Alright, you should be in millimeters. Mine's still set to inches from another project. Let me go ahead and change that, and we'll get you what that actually should be. Okay, I'm going to set that to 1/4 millimeter. Okay. All right, and that should make that nice and easy for you. Now, I do want this one to be able to rotate, so I don't have to add any other constraints. You should be noticing the pattern, though, that most of these blocks need at least 3 constraints to be locked in place. All right, let's go ahead and call this at this point. So we're going to call this assembly practice for me. I think I'm going to call it 02 because I think I've already got one in there titled that. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and end this video.